Hello Leafs Nation, welcome back to your go-to channel, Toronto Maple Leaf News Network. Today we have 3 jam-packed updates about our Leafs, which surfaced or came to notice just a few hours ago. These are critical developments that could shape the start of the regular season, a potential roster move that has the fan base buzzing, and a long-shot free agent target that is now off the board. If you are a true Leafs fan, you do not want to miss these updates. And yes, before we start the video, I request you, if you are new to the channel, then do not forget to like and subscribe so that you can stay in the loop with all the latest and most engaging Leafs news. Let us dive right into the script. Update 1. Roster shocker. Laughton injury blow and Kampf waived. How the Leafs center depth changes. The start of the Toronto Maple Leafs regular season is looking less than ideal, as the team will not have a clean bill of health. The biggest news hitting the wire this morning revolves around key center Scott Laughton. The Leafs officially announced on Friday morning that Laughton will be sidelined on a week-to-week basis due to a lower body injury. This is a massive blow to the team and to the player himself, who is having a real good camp, according to Leafs coach Craig Berube. Coach Berube kept the details minimal, stating only that it is a lower body injury when asked if Laughton was dealing with a broken bone. Laughton's injury occurred during the Leafs' 3-1 preseason loss against the Detroit Red Wings. He displayed incredible grit, blocking 2 shots in the game. However, after one of those blocks, he was noticeably wincing and clearly in pain. His last shift came during the final 3 minutes of that game. This is a tough situation for a veteran who was finally energized in his first full Maple Leafs camp, demonstrating he was ready to put a tough start after being acquired from Philadelphia in March behind him. The impact of this loss cannot be overstated, especially for the fourth line. Prior to the injury, the chemistry growing between Laughton, Steven Lorentz, and rookie Easton Cowan was a significant point of interest for Coach Berube. Laughton was seen as the wily veteran whose loss will certainly impact Cowan, especially the rookie's ability to make plays, which is key for the trio's success. Now, here is the huge twist that followed the Laughton injury news. The Leafs placed David Kampf on waivers on Friday afternoon. With Laughton initially out, Kampf was practicing at center on the fourth line between Lorentz and Cowan. Placing Kampf on waivers is a move that seems to suggest General Manager Brad Treliving is highly confident that the forward will clear without being claimed by another team. Kampf carries a salary cap hit of $2.4 million United States dollars this season and next. However, there is a major risk here. If Kampf is claimed, the Leafs would have completely misread the situation. The team absolutely cannot afford to go into the regular season opener next week missing Laughton and having lost Kampf to another club, as it would severely deplete their center ice depth. It is clear Kampf was not a part of the plans with Laughton having such a solid camp. But if Kampf clears waivers and remains with the organization, there is a silver lining regarding the Laughton injury. Kampf can slide into Laughton's minutes on the penalty kill. This is an area where Kampf excels. Last season, he recorded the second most penalty-killing minutes among Leafs forwards, trailing only Mitch Marner. Kampf played 59 games for the Maple Leafs last season, recording 13 points on 5 goals and 8 assists. He has 143 points on 48 goals and 95 assists in 536 career National Hockey League games with the Maple Leafs and Chicago Blackhawks. This situation is a high-stakes gamble for the Maple Leafs management as the regular season looms. We will be watching the waiver wire closely. Update 2. Waiver wire watch. Leafs send 2 players down, highlighting roster decisions and Marley's impact. In a move that is part of the annual roster trimming process before the season begins, the Toronto Maple Leafs today placed 2 players, a forward and a defenseman, on waivers. The primary goal of this move is to send them to the team's American Hockey League affiliate, the Toronto Marlies. The 2 players are forward David Kampf and defenseman William Villeneuve. The news of Kampf being waived, as we discussed in the last segment, is the more headline-grabbing move, especially given the Scott Laughton injury. Management is clearly playing a game of cap and roster confidence, hoping his $2.4 million United States dollar cap hit is enough to deter rival teams from claiming him. In the preseason, Kampf has played in 2 games, recording an assist and achieving a +2 rating. Last season, he played 59 games for the Maple Leafs, where he recorded 13 points on 5 goals and 8 assists. He was a -1 with 1 shorthanded goal. In his career, Kampf has appeared in 536 National Hockey League games with the Maple Leafs and the Chicago Blackhawks, totaling 143 points on 48 goals and 95 assists. He has a career -16 rating with 4 shorthanded goals and 5 game-winning goals. We are holding our collective breath that he clears, as the center depth is now incredibly fragile. The other player placed on waivers, William Villeneuve, is an important defensive prospect for the organization. Villeneuve was the Maple Leafs' 122nd overall pick in the 2020 National Hockey League entry draft. His placement on waivers signals that the team intends for him to start the season with the Toronto Marlies. Villeneuve's recent performance in the preseason was limited as he played in only 1 game, but he made his presence felt, scoring a goal on his lone shot. His impact at the American Hockey League level last season was significant. In 55 games for the Marlies, Villeneuve recorded 40 points on 4 goals and 36 assists. That kind of production from a defenseman is impressive. He was also a +17 with 2 power play goals and 1 game-winning goal. Over his 165 career games for the Marlies, he has recorded 90 points, which includes 9 goals and 81 assists. His career Marlies stats include a +28 rating, 3 power play goals, and 2 game-winning goals. The decision to waive Kampf and Villeneuve allows the team to finalize their opening night roster while managing the salary cap and keeping key depth in the system. While we anticipate Villeneuve will clear and be a huge asset to the Marlies this season, the David Kampf waiver situation is the one that has every member of the Leafs Nation biting their nails. General Manager Brad Treliving is betting big that Kampf's $2.4 million cap hit will protect him from being claimed, preventing a disastrous scenario where the Leafs lose center depth right after Scott Laughton's injury. This is a critical few days for the team as they wait to see if these players clear waivers. We have one final intriguing update on a free agent target that was once heavily rumored to be heading to Toronto. Are you ready for the final scoop, Leafs Nation? Update 3. Target off the board. Maple Leafs front. Runner Evgeny Kuznetsov. Signs in KHL. Why the deal was unlikely anyway. Leafs Nation, let us talk about a free agent rumor that has been swirling around the team for a while. Former Stanley Cup champion center Evgeny Kuznetsov. For a time, the Toronto Maple Leafs were rumored to be the top destination for the 33-year-old free agent. Kuznetsov had been planning a National Hockey League comeback after being cut by the Washington Capitals. He last played for the Capitals and the Carolina Hurricanes during the 2023-24 season, but he failed to land a National Hockey League contract last season. The 2024-25 season saw Kuznetsov play in Russia with the SKA St. Petersburg, where he had a decent season, scoring 12 goals and 37 points in 39 games. The talk was hot this season that he might return to the National Hockey League, with the Maple Leafs being the front-runner to land him. A report from September 27th even placed the Leafs and the Florida Panthers as the interested parties, with the Russian forward reportedly holding his breath for either club to make an offer. However, that dream is now over, at least for this season. There is no indication that such an offer was ever on the table. As a result, Kuznetsov has signed a 1-year deal with the Metallurg Magnitogorsk in the Continental Hockey League, effectively removing him from consideration for this season. But here is the crucial point for Leafs Nation. The Maple Leafs did not really have much room for Kuznetsov in their already crowded forward group. Toronto has 4 centers already earmarked for this season, meaning playing time would have been scarce for the Russian center unless someone went down with an injury. Even if the Maple Leafs did squeeze him into the lineup, it would have been in a bottom 6 role. Furthermore, Kuznetsov might not have been the best option for a 3rd or 4th line center role, especially considering the Leafs do not have much cap space. It is also likely that the Toronto team would have only offered an incentive-laden 1-year deal. If Kuznetsov was seeking more job security, that kind of offer might not have appealed to him. So, passing on the National Hockey League this season might have been Kuznetsov's best bet. A good year in the Continental Hockey League could draw more interest from other clubs looking for center depth moving forward, and if he can prove he is healthy and productive, the National Hockey League could still be a possibility for a club like the Maple Leafs down the line. The Florida Panthers, the other rumored team, were also not a good fit. They suddenly found themselves in need of center depth after Alexander Barkov's disappointing season-ending injury. However, Kuznetsov was not going to be the solution, as they ideally needed a top 6 center, not another bottom 6 forward. Additionally, the Panthers are currently over the cap. While they could have used Barkov's cap hit on long-term injury reserve to free up room, they would have preferred to use that space for a forward who would fill a major void, not just add another bottom 6 depth center. So, while the rumors were exciting, the fit was never perfect for the Leafs, and the door is now closed for this season. And that is it for today's Toronto Maple Leaf News Network update. Leafs Nation! These are critical hours for the team as they wait for the waiver results and adjust the lineup before the regular season begins next week. The center depth is now a major question mark, and we will be here to cover every single development. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you found these updates helpful and engaging, please hit that like button, subscribe to Toronto Maple Leaf News Network, and turn on notifications so you never miss a breaking story. Let us know in the comments below. Do you think David Kampf will clear waivers? And how worried are you about the center depth without Laughton? We will see you next time, and as always, go Leafs. Go!